Althea River's song tumbled into the world on 7 September 1999 in a cedar float house bobbing against the tide of Ketchikan Harbor, Alaska. Salmon skittered under moonlit planks while her mother, a nomad blues cellist who stores pressed lupine petals in her rosin tin, slid gentle double stops across the cradle rail. Her father, a seaplane mechanic who sketches lenticular clouds on empty part boxes, bent so close their foreheads brushed and whispered that harbors, headwinds, and hired opinions all shift for a soul that never folds itself small. Curves roam every branch of the Riversong family tree like muskeg water wanders spruce roots. So nobody fretted when baby Althea blasted the seams of 2 flannel wraps before dawn, draped pink light over the channel. Grandma Dahlia eased a hook needle through each tear, filled the gaps with quilt clippings from an old tide chart, and laughed that extra cloth cost pennies while teaching a child to shrink might cost her every horizon she's born to chase. Primary classrooms smelled of pencil stubs, cedar shavings, and the briny tingle that slips through cracked windows. Althea soon stood a head taller and a shoulder wider than every classmate, blotting out the projector beam whenever she diagrammed comparative verbs on the board. One sleet-slick recess, a pair of kids circled her, chanting, "Barge boat!" each time her sneakers tapped another hot box. That evening, she combed the breakwater for soda caps burnished satin by Tide, threaded them on fishing leader into a glitter ribbon, and stitched the strand down her teal sweatshirt. When the bell rang next morning, early sun ricocheted off 100 mirrors. A visiting literacy aide caught 6 seconds on a scratch flip phone, uploaded the shimmer to a newborn video site, and by dinner, 12,000 strangers applauded the girl who spun teasing into lighthouse sparkle. That night, Althea inked a pledge in lilac gel across her reading log. Clouds huddle only until you flash them bright enough to drift. Weekends belong to Dockside Market, where her mother's cello riffs dance with the clatter of crab cages and the hiss of fresh halibut frying in iron skillets. Store jeans froze at Althea's thighs, so she bartered tip jar coins for sun-faded cargo net, loomed it into high-waist culottes, spritz puffin silhouettes in squid ink, and posed at sunset against rust-striped pilings while her cousin snapped grainy frames. She loaded the shots into an online diary she called Harbor Lantern. On the very week, a new photo app drifted through town cell towers. Captions sailed from poignant sayings to straight-up English lines like curves anchor storms steadier than jetty rock. By 16, she counted 54,000 unseen friends tapping hearts on every amber portrait, proof that distant screens drown cafeteria whispers louder than any hall monitor. An eco-robotics scholarship ferried her south to Oregon State University. Daylight disappeared inside kelp drone labs, and nights belonged to a 24-hour bow cart glowing neon coral near the dorms. The heat lamp doubled as her softbox. Between pork belly orders, she filmed 90-second reels, twisting parchment wrappers into fireweed barrettes while explaining dart rotation in a voice half rain, hush, half lecture zine. One clip layered sea lion barks over a pocket synth pulse while she chain-stitched reflective anchor rope into thrift denim, and 42 hours later, the reel surfed past 1.1 million plays. West Coast style blogs crowned her the bow cart couturier, but every sponsor message stalled at size 16. Althea slid them all into a folder she named Shrinking Nets, wiped hoisin flecks from her cuff, and flipped another bun. Equinox Drizzle carried an email from Columbia Sportswear asking her to co-design a fog-proof capsule called Miss Pulse. Althea answered with 3 tie-stone terms. Patterns must reach 60-inch hips, half the creative crew hired from coastal trade schools, and 10% of net profit funneled into seagrass restoration along the inside passage. Columbia signed before dawn steamed the harbor glassy. The shoe unfolded on a bay salt spit where otters rolled through kelp. Althea coached curvy paddleboarders across silver ripples while a drone swooped overhead. When the lookbook dropped, every extended size shell vanished within 41 hours across 26 countries. Harbor Lantern hurtled beyond 700,000 followers. Still smelling of ginger soy, she ducked behind rice sacks, balanced her phone on a sesame tub, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath buzzing fluorescent. Birth-friendly nudge. If that lift already sparks your chest, press subscribe right now. One tap is free. It glues you to the bow so the next swell of stories hit your feed before algorithm winds shift. Spotlight Shimmer drew rumor goals. A gossip vlog claimed Althea laced steel plates beneath the Miss Pulse jackets. Pre-dawn, she paddled a cedar board past kelp beds, stood steady in sports bra and fleece shorts, traced her stretch lines with crushed bougainvillea pink, and drove a blues riff on a travel cello while chanting "Body, steer, weather, not corset" in her. 10 million viewers reposted the jam labeled bougainvillea proof, brushing pink dust across their own curves until gossip drifted under ebb tide. All wages, braided with capsule royalties and turned into Riversong Glow, a whipped body custard blending spruce tip butter, salmonberry seed oil, and mica specks that flare pearl when phone lights spark. 19,000 tins cooled on her father's boatyard bench, lids knotted with braided crabline and stamped "Moisturize Your Horizon." Stock disappeared in 82 minutes, raising $196,000. Last year, Miriam Maurice launched a small but powerful project called the Kelp Recorder. Teens built digital sergers and waterproof field recorders to plus-size teens in fishing towns from Prince Rupert to Port Orford. 9 months later, 36 winners staged a floating fashion and whale-song showcase aboard a timber tug strung with LED kelp, streamed live to morning screens from Lima to Lisbon. Seattle Fashion Week cut fresh harbor legend when a backstage blower shredded her emerald mesh gown from rib to knee 80 seconds before a runway start. She ripped neon tie line from a cable coil, laced the rent like sneaker eyelet, and strode the catwalk as though the splice lay in her first sketch. Camera shutters cracked like glacier ice. Vogue Cascade christened the rescue rope Cadence, and another million lantern keepers surfaced before after-party vinyl spun its first groove. Sabotage tried again when a dismissed rep leaked edited email suggesting she demanded clam fritter towers and chauffeur skiffs for her rescue sea otter drift. She dropped the full chain, refillable water urns, lentil stew for crew, caption monitors for deaf stylists, then wired that month's affiliate flow, 137,000, into biodegradable crab hot pilots in 2 bays. Fans echoed her peer mantra, "Receipts shine brighter than rumor grit," until whispers sank beneath moontide. By midsummer, Harbor Lantern sparkled across 6.7 million Instagram hearts, 3.3 million real Voyagers, and 2 million faithful channel subscribers, with engagement cruising at 10%, forcing ad planners back to blank boards. Cartier invited her to headline a topaz surge reel inside his set-ahead lighthouse lens. Althea agreed only after Cartier pledged therapy stipends for long-line deckhands hammered by rogue wave. The finished clip, her wrists scattering amber shards across iron ribs, became Cartier's most saved post of the quarter. Family keeps her compass steady. Twice a month, she streams strings and steam. Mom layers funk grooves on steel strings beside a propane skillet. Dad reads fog haiku, and Althea flips thrift denim under fairy bulbs. One session skipped past 9 million when Drift waddled through powdered sugar and sneezed a glitter cloud onto the lens. A marine rescue now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated otters with solar trackers powered by Riversong Glow. Low revenue crested 12 million before its second birthday. She leased a silent salmon smokehouse, carved skylights through 10, and hired furloughed deckhands plus design grads to whip and jar custard every 10 ties shut by hand during mid-A stretch dances to Shallow House remixes. Efficiency advisors push for shrink bands. She repeated her mother's words, "Fingertips keep legends long after machines forget, and rope knots stayed." Mental wellness candor pulses through her feed. Basalt Bluff portraits sit beside bow truck selfies captioned "Same sky, different weather." Breath loops recorded in echo caves come with reframing sheets in English and tighting plus sliding scale therapy codes. 110,000 users call her shoreline honesty their first calm harbor. Community Rise shimmering crushed abalone paint. Hundreds glide the waterfront at dusk, wearing Riversong Glow on collarbones and LED moon jelly tassels on spokes. Ticket proceeds thicken beacon grants, install wheelchair snorkel lifts at Rocky Coves. Chowder Shacks ladle late because clam stew bowls pop 15% on ride nights. Althea pedals lead on a vintage cruiser with drift plush bungeed in a wicker basket, pausing to retie any. Her memoir Currents Keep Names lands in 11 languages next spring, while a stream crew follows her mission to turn retired wave buoys into floating maker labs for island schools. Puma's wide-toe wave lantern sneakers splash next quarter, threaded in reflective rope and cushioned by algae foam, funneling 10% of revenue into beacon projects around the Pacific Rim. Second call to action, Sails in. If your subscribe button is still red, make it gray this instant. Lock your boarding pass so the next story surges straight onto your dash before algorithm tide turns. Playback ends, drop into the description. Waiting. Fresh Riversong Glow restocks. The express link for beacon applications, tonight strings and steam playlist, and a discreet compass. A research-built guide packed with conversation sparkers and calm confidence rituals, mapping the clearest path to real connection and the most reliable steps that help any woman feel genuine interest blooming. All free, one click away. Is the subject cap spine, robe cadence, gown safe, or just sugar sneeze brighten your nights? Hit the like heart, share your loudest splash in the comments, and hand this voyage to a friend whose cells droop in still air. Every curve redirects currents, every scar refracts moonlight in the Pacific, bows to anyone who plants both boots on the pier and greets tomorrow eyes wide. Third gentle gust flies across your screen. Subscribe right now, claim the prow rail, and meet me on the next rolling tide when another story glimmers beyond the breakers and courage calls your name again.